Okay, for this lesson, you're going to need your completed unit circle, because today we're using the unit circle and just connecting everything together to find circular functions using that unit circle. All right, so as you know, we've gone over this several times. For the unit circle, if you're measuring an angle, let's say this angle right here is theta, then you know that the cosine of theta is the x, and the sine of theta is the y. And, of course, using the Pythagorean theorem, x squared plus y squared is equal to 1. And that's where we get the equation cosine squared plus sine squared is equal to 1. We'll be talking about that a lot, because that's that big Pythagorean identity that we love so much. Okay, so just mixing stuff around again. Sine is the x, cosine is the y, tangent is sine over cosine, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, so tangent is y over x. Then the reciprocal of sine is cosecant, which is 1 over y. Secant is 1 over x. And of course, cotangent is x over y. It's important that for tangent, x can't be 0, and for cotangent, y can't be 0, otherwise you'll have undefined, and that's what happens at the quadrantal angles, 90, 180, 270, so on. Okay, so instead of angles, we have to use radians. Okay, so again, make sure you have your unit circle handy, and it'll help you solve all of these. Here we go. Find the exact value of -3 pi. All right, so you start at 0, and you have to go around pi 3 times. So 1, 2, and then back to 3 is right here where you end up, right? So notice that sine of -3 pi is the same thing as the sine of pi, or it's at 180 degrees. What you could also do is, you know, I usually add 360. Well, 360 is 2 pi. So you keep adding 2 pi until you get to a positive angle, and then you'd get to the sine of pi, and from that point, the sine of pi is 0. Okay? Cosine of -3 pi, it's the same spot, so it's the same thing as the cosine of pi, which is -1, because it's the x. The tangent of 3 pi is the -3 pi is the same thing as the tangent of pi. Tangent is y over x, so 0 over -1 is 0. Super easy, especially if you have the unit circle on you. Okay? Take that unit circle out. Here we go. Use the unit circle to find the exact values of 4 pi over 3 and the cosine of 4 pi over 3 and the sine of 4 pi over 3. So when you're looking at your unit circle, just find 4 pi over 3, which is right here. Right? There you go. So using all that information, it's easy to see that the sine of 4 pi over 3, which is the y, is -√3 over 2, and the cosine is -1/2. About something like this. Oh, sorry about that. Let me go back. We didn't finish the rest of those problems. Here we go. So, part B says, use the unit circle and the definition of tangent to find the exact value of -9 pi over 4. One thing you do, especially if you don't like radians, you can just convert it to degrees again. So to convert this to degrees, you got -9 pi over 4 times 180 over pi. The pi's cancel out, so it's just -9 times 180 divided by 4, which gives you -405 degrees. As you know, it's not between 0 and 360, so you just have to add 360 till you get to a nice number. Luckily, you only have to do it a couple times. You're at -45 degrees. Add it again. and you'll be at 215, yeah, 315, sorry, 315 degrees. So when you're looking at the unit circle, 315 degrees is right here. So the tangent at that point, and you can just keep it at the original problem, which was negative 9 pi over 4. Tangent is y over x, so negative root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2 is just negative 1. So you can convert back and forth from radians to degrees if necessary. All right, here we go. Use reference angles and degree radian conversion to find the exact value of sine 11 pi over 6. Well, if you have that whole unit circle, you see 11 pi over 6 on the unit circle. It's right here. It's at 330. So the sine at 330 is negative 1/2. That's it. It's just reading the unit circles today. All right, take a moment, pause the video, and check your calculator. Make sure that your mode is in radians. When you're ready, go ahead and start up again. All right, so if you were to type in these values into the calculator, again, all you have to do is type in the sine. Show you. Here we go. Okay, so on your calculator, just make sure that it says RAD, which stands for radians, at the top. If you don't remember how to do that, here's your calculator. Right now, mine says DEG. This button right here, DRG, transfers from degrees, radians to gradients. So just make sure it's in radians. So for the first one, to do 3.42 sine, you just go 3.42 sine. And that negative 2.748 is in radians. Get that out of the way. Okay, so this one should be negative 0.2748. Go ahead and try the tangent. When you clear your calculator, it might go back to degrees, so double check that it's in radians. You should get 1.0790. Okay. When it comes to the reciprocal identities, again, secant is just 1 over cosine. So you're just plugging in 1 over the cosine of 5.6041, which is about 1.2851. And cosecant is a reciprocal of sine, so this is just 1 over the sine of negative 2.7335, which gets you negative 2.5198. Again, go ahead and pause whenever you need to. Double check my calculations. Make sure you can get them from your calculator. Okay. Last thing. Here we go. Let's go backwards. If you know that the value is 3.3210, what was the radians for that one? It's really important to know that when you're using a calculator, the approximate value for pi over 2, if you just go pi divided by 2 in your calculator, let me show you. Okay, remember pi over 2 is 90 degrees, so in radians, if you go pi, which is right here, and then divide it by 2, you should get about 1.5708 or something like that. So you're looking for a value between 0 and like 1.5707, 578. So 1.5708-ish. Okay, so your value should be between 0 and that. All right, so to find that, you just need to take the inverse sine of 0.3210 to find your S. And that should give you 0.3268. And again, as long as it's between those numbers, you're good. Okay, here we go. Find the exact value of s between the interval of 3 pi over 2 and pi over 2. Well, what quadrant is that? This is obviously in quadrant 4. So, if you're looking for a tan of s to be negative root 3 over 3, remember tan is some y value over some x value. And so to get that negative root 3 at the top, the y had to be a negative root 3 over 2. Actually, let me change that. If we were to undo the rationalization, this would just go right back to 1 over root 3, negative 1 over root 3. Okay, so, sorry about that. Delete. Okay. So in order to get that 1 over negative root 3, you would have had to have a 1/2 at the top and a root 3 over 2 at the bottom. Remember, you're in quadrant 4. So in quadrant 4, the 1 is negative. So you're looking for where the y is negative 1/2 and the x is root 3 over 2. So when you find that point, you should be looking for root 3 over 2 comma negative 1/2. So just read that right off of your unit circle. Go back to here. Right? You're in quadrant 3. Your y is negative 1/2. And the x is root 3 over 2. So that tells me the original angle should have been 11.6, or 11 pi over 6. So for this one, s is equal to 11 pi over 6. That's where that happens on the unit circle. All right, good luck. Once again, watch the video as much as you need to. Text me, let me know if you have any issues, and I'd be happy to answer them. Good luck, everyone.